Okay, let's see. Is Brandi in a good place, Graham, or does she need to come closer to me?
Brandi, if you want me
More?
to be.
Okay.
Oh, where'd I put my notes? Lisa?
He needs a virtual assistant. I'm his physical handler, but he does need somebody to.
Good day and welcome to another exciting episode. Living well together, big life in a tiny, small little town.
Yay!
We got a little small town action today.
We do.
This is going to be so fun. We've got with us today the owner, founder, and CEO of Virtual Harmony.
And
You're not going to believe this.
And her name is...
Yeah, I wasn't done with the intro. I was really going to build this up. All right, Brandi Farris is with us today. And she is, this will be so fun. And it'll be fun because people like me need people like you in our lives. Yeah.
Facts.
100% true.
Yeah. He demonstrated that earlier. Yeah.
Where's my notes? Does anybody see my notes? Yes. So tell us a little bit about Virtual Harmony, and then we're going to work ourselves backward into how you got there.
How I got there.
Like
Can
your
I
favorite...
work myself? Can I?
You want to start at the beginning and go forward?
Yeah, because it lays the foundation to how I got to Virtual Harmony.
Okay, make it brief. Go ahead. No, I'm kidding.
Take us through. Take us through it, Brandi.
So I'm going to actually take you back to childhood, young adult years.
No, this is not a therapy session, so you're going to have to be careful. Because if you make me cry, there's no tissues on this table.
But we can get some if we need them.
That's what they make sleeves for. So essentially, like growing up, I experienced a lot of bullying and a lot of rejection. And it really led to a life of being a people pleaser, ultimately. And one of the biggest things that happened was in my sophomore year of high school, I was cut from volleyball. Oh. And that was just like devastation because that was the one place I was confident at. I was comfortable being there. And to having that stripped away was just like, what am I going to do now?
Friends too, right? That was your community.
That was my community. And I was like, what am I going to do now?
Why in the world would a coach do that?
So ultimately I found out I didn't fit the mold as far as like height, size.
Oh my gosh.
And so of course that further led to unhealthy thoughts.
Yeah.
And ultimately led down to a destruction of, an eating disorder. So I battled that for nearly a decade. And, having that and then, ultimately made me be a people pleaser more because it was like I was trying to fit in. I was trying, to the latest thing, but I never could truly find what made me tick. I don't think I ever truly found out like who I was as a person. And then lead to August 2015, I had health issues that led to an emergency hysterectomy. So now at age 28, I'm in surgical menopause and things are just like, what is going on? All these things.
Yeah.
But fortunately I connected with a dear friend that you guys know, Gretchen Truby.
Hey, Gretchen.
And, she started showing me things and I learned that crunchy, like holistic lifestyle that was just like so foreign, but it allowed me to see things as I started implementing things and things started like, okay, this makes sense. But I still felt there was like something missing, a missing piece. At that time, I decided to walk away from my corporate job
of 10
sales
years,
of 10 years. Yes,
that was a big change.
And that was after the world shut down. I was in respiratory, and I was just burnt out. I was working.
You were in respiratory?
Yes.
Oh my
Sales
gosh.
of respiratory equipment.
Yeah.
Yep. So I was
Holy
delivering oxygen. I was delivering ventilators to patients. And we were so like short staffed and like short on equipment. It was just like, all these expectations, but they weren't taking into account of, what we were given. And it was just like, at that point I realized like I wasn't a person. I was somebody on their payroll that they could manipulate. And my vacation got taken away. And I literally walked back to my office, wrote up my 2 weeks and was like, I'm done. I had no plan.
Wait a minute. They took your vacation?
I had it scheduled because I always took the week after Christmas off to just kind of chill. My doctor's offices weren't open. So it was like,
right.
what
Perfect
is there
timing.
to do?
Yeah.
So I'd, done that my whole tenure there. And when they told me I couldn't take it because of short-staffed, I was like, well, I'm going to show them. So I was like,
Yeah.
here's my 2 weeks. I called my sister, said, I don't know what I did, but I just quit my job.
So it was pretty spontaneous.
Very.
Which is not like you, right? You
No.
think things through so closely and carefully.
Yes.
You had some other irons in the fire at that time, though.
I
It's
did.
You were
Okay.
not flying without a net. You had a couple of nets under you.
I did.
They needed work. I'm not saying they didn't, but it wasn't a snap decision with no backup.
No.
But it sounds like it was a snap decision. But thank
It was a little earlier in the process of when I wanted to do
Yes,
it, but
got
at that point I felt like it was the right. I just felt like this is the time. At the time, my sister, was looking for somebody to be home with the kids, so she didn't have to send them to daycare. So I was fortunate to be that stay-at-home aunt that I always wanted to be.
Yeah.
What do they call you?
BB.
I know.
Baby, so cute.
Yep, Wyatt and Lily. Wyatt's 8, Lily is 5, and she is full of sass, and I love her to death.
Do you still take care of them?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep. They're fortunately both in school full time, but I go get them up in the mornings.
Yeah.
We ride the BB bus is what my car is called. I drop them off. I do get to volunteer in Lily's kindergarten class twice a week. So
That's fun too.
always fun.
Yeah.
And then I pick them up.
Yeah.
So that was something I had that I've been able to do. But, through that time, like I was really trying to find like what my niche was, like what was I business wise, like what I wanted to do. And I had, I was trying different things, but nothing really felt in line because as a people pleaser, like I was trying to do what I thought everybody else wanted me to do. It was like, oh, let me try this. And then it would fail and it'd be like, nothing really got up off the ground running. And then so enter August 2023, where I, went through something where I had to face those years of demons, those years of being a people pleaser, those years of lies that continuously, I was told and that I believed. And the catalyst was really coming to Body Code.
Yeah.
Shout out Caitlin. She's the best. I love her to death.
She won't come on. We've asked.
Well, we were even going to do a voice, something with her voice. She
Yeah.
will eventually.
Yeah, we had to
And if she
put
doesn't,
one of
that's
those
okay.
little blurry face things on and modify her voice to sound like that. I don't know. We'll get it.
But it was through that I could really get to the core and learn who I was. And it really boiled down to my mindset that I had and learning who Brandi was, which is something that I never experienced. And ultimately I learned like, it's okay to put yourself first.
Yeah.
It's okay to make yourself mandatory. And through that, I was able to, the last 2 years, I've been able to like prioritize my mental health. And it led me to, creating Virtual Harmony, which is the virtual assistant business I had. And it's based on, our lives can be chaotic. Our businesses can be chaotic. And there's so many more important things that sometimes we get caught up in the chaos of work. And, we want to take our laptop on vacation with us. And, you may have family or kids or whatever. And it's like, I need to be doing this, but I also, want to spend time with my family or even, sitting around the table. Like some often see like, people working on their laptops. And the birth of Virtual Harmony was to take those things off business owners' plates so that they can focus on the important things of their business, but also their personal life. And so I went through a rebranding because I kind of started my virtual assistant business like 3 or 4 years ago, but not in this capacity. And it never resonated with me until I went, the last 2 years of just really fine tuning what services I wanted to offer. But I wanted it to be more than services. I wanted it to serve a purpose. And the word that just kept coming to mind was harmony.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, Virtual Harmony. And I kept sitting with it and I was like, that's it. That's it. And so it's just really bringing balance and harmony to that work-life balance. And so that's the birth of Virtual Harmony. So mindset was a huge factor in that and getting my mental health to where it needed to be able to take that, and offer it to the clients of business owners.
You basically had to do for yourself what you offer as a service for other people. You had to
Yes.
clean up your own closet and get your own house in order before you can say, let me help you clean your closets and get your house in order.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
good on you. And the thing I love about it is most entrepreneurs, or a lot of business people, I shouldn't say everybody, but we're entrepreneurial, and you have a different brain about that than I do. I'm the big idea guy. I'm the like cast the vision person. But what I need is somebody who has the detail centered. Let me get the details down.
The implementation.
So exactly. And here's the plan for implementation, which is different than cooking the plan. So it's a good marriage for you to connect with business owners who do feel overwhelmed. You can't see my desk. My personal desk is on the other side of the camera.
It's not too bad, babe.
No, today it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You can actually see the surface in some spots. But there are days where I feel like my desk reflects my brain and it's
Yeah.
chaos. And so to have somebody who can come in and say, all right, let's get this chaos under control, because then it frees up your creative brain to go back to doing creative things. And that's what makes business fly for a lot of people. So yeah, it's a valuable service, no doubt about it, that you're bringing to the table.
One of the things my best friend will do, she'll either text me or she may like FaceTime me and she'll be like, hey, I just need to take this and put it in your brain because I know you can categorize it and organize it. And I'm like, okay, got it done, taken care of.
Yep. And so how do you connect with people? Let's say I'm going to hire you today because I need a VA. And so walk us through the process a little bit.
So the initial step is just, learning one about your business and seeing like what are the things that you do need help with.
So what does that look like though, Brandi? Does
we're gonna
somebody,
set
let's just start from the beginning. How do they find you for one thing?
So I have a Facebook, Instagram, and a website.
Okay.
brandifarris.com or
Okay.
virtualharmony.com.
And do they get on there and make set up
there's
like a discovery call? Okay.
Yep. There's an option to schedule a discovery call. We hop on that discovery call and just kind of, walk through the tasks that you're wanting.
Okay.
And then
Give us some examples of tasks that people want.
the latest one, and actually I think working through fine tuning a couple of things is, and I feel like it's my wheelhouse, is getting those businesses like set up or like started. Like I actually, my
Like
newest,
from the beginning?
yeah. So I love processes. I love systems. I
Yeah.
love getting people organized.
Okay.
And my latest client, just took over a boutique and she's like, we really don't have like a marketing strategy. We don't really have social media presence, like that type of thing. And I'm like, I gotcha. I
Yeah.
gotcha. So like actually today after this, we're going to sit down and look at the next year.
Okay.
These are the things we can implement for marketing.
Right.
Now let's look at your social media. So I'm going to take that over and schedule, the next 3 months for them. And so I like to work in, 3-month spans, quarter spans.
Yeah.
And so once we feel like if it's a good fit, and if it's services that I can offer,
Yeah.
we'll look at, okay, this is, I was doing packages. Shout out to another guest you had, Chelsea Moselle.
Hey, Chelsea. Yeah.
She shared with me her VIP days, and I
Yes.
was like, that
Magic.
resonated so well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that is what I've been working on actually the last couple of weeks to like
Good.
implement those.
Yes.
And so mine are, you can hire Brandi for a day. So have a Brandi day.
Brandi day.
But ultimately, take that content creation and be able to do it in one day. Take those email campaigns, be able to do it in a day.
Right.
Craft their marketing strategies, be able to do that in a day. So that day it's right there. You're not waiting a week, 2 weeks, a month to
Absolutely.
be able to have it.
Magic.
It is magic, to set it up that way and just get it all done in a day. It's like you checking off 15 things on a to-do list that's probably been around for months.
Yeah.
For business owners. It's life-changing.
So while the business is done virtually, in other words, you're off site, you're getting that work done separately. Like, do you have an office space? Well, is there any FaceTime? Like, I'm going to meet with a client today and we're going to go through her first quarter. Is that a face-to-face meeting or is that an online meeting?
It can be phone or I like to use Zoom. So it depends on what the client wants.
Any
If they're-
FaceTime? Are we ever going to go to a coffee shop or are we ever going to go to office space? Are you ever going to come to my office and say, hey, let's get together on this?
If they're local, they can. Like the business owner, we met
The boutique owner.
Yep, we met in person, and
Yes.
you know, and the one thing I loved about that connecting in person, like I love being able to do the work virtually, but connecting with her, I could see the passion in her
There
face
you go.
of what
Yeah.
her dreams and aspirations was for the business. And as she talked to it, like I could watch her and her face just like glue and let up. And I was like, girl, I can tell like
Yeah.
how excited you are. And it was just, it gave that personal touch.
Yeah.
And for me as a business owner, like that is something I love, is creating the personal touch, creating that customer service experience. And I'm a little extra when it comes to things. So
Yeah.
like I'm going to go above and beyond
Right.
based off of things that I've learned through nonverbals or like, you know, meeting with somebody. So do you have to be local? No, you can be local. Like it just
Right.
opens up more
If you are
opportunities.
local, there's more opportunity.
Yes.
Although if we wanted to fly you to LA for client meeting, you'd get on a plane.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But I think there's no substitute for that. You know,
Well,
as
and
the
also in
world
that
has
kind of
gone
business.
virtual,
Yeah.
everything has become doable from a distance, but there is no substitute for feeling that energy, seeing that facial expression, working face to face,
Yeah.
knee to knee. You know, so if that's a service that you can offer, that is something that can set you apart from other people doing virtual work. I think there's there's always going to be old schoolers, kind of like me. I
Yeah.
would much rather be in the room with you. I'd rather feel your vibe. If I'm going to hand you some stuff from my business, I need to know who you are. I'm not gonna, you know, I would do a background check. Does she have a police record? Has she been?
Oh, you better not check that. I'm just kidding.
No, my point is, from an entrepreneurial business ownership standpoint, I'm not just going to hand my pride and joy over to somebody I haven't met.
Right.
So for you to be able to offer that as a service, I think puts you a cut above a lot of people that can't do that. If they're in Thailand or, you know, India, there's a lot of we've used different virtual
Well,
assistants
and I was
over
going to
the years.
say, but you know, and I understand what you're saying, babe, and you definitely are more of that, you know, face to face, knee to knee type of a person. But not having geographical boundaries for Brandi is amazing for her business.
Right.
And
Oh no, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that, but being able to be face to face puts you in a slightly different league. I think a better league.
for local
Yeah,
type
100%.
businesses. Yeah. You're right. I mean, Zoom is wonderful, and we learned all about Zoom for
Sure did.
several years. And you know, some people are like, "Can we do anything except for Zoom?"
Yeah,
Probably.
I would rather cut
Rather
off my
have a phone
left
call
arm
than
and
a
have
Zoom call.
Well, I mean, I think now even too, like even just making phone calls, like, you know, you FaceTime because you want to see that person.
Yes,
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely a way to do that. Okay. So they get in touch with you. You do your discovery call. You kind of click through. Are there some other things that people are looking for specifically with their businesses? It sounds like, do you do ads for social media?
I haven't necessarily done any ads.
Okay.
It's
it's
not
getting-
something I'm opposed to. I just haven't had any clients request that, but a lot of it's just been content creation, getting like their actual social media set up,
Right.
You know, kind of like the nitty gritty, like even down to like, you know, getting their Square accounts set up.
Yeah. Wow.
Like so that they can
Yeah.
get paid,
Right.
You know,
Yeah. That's a big one.
another boutique I worked with was getting their inventory system like set up in place. So that way it ran smoothly. So the more like I was like looking at this and I'm like, I think that ideal client is like those businesses that are like just getting going, like needing those processes and those things in place to get it smooth,
And make it-
sailing off the ground.
Exactly. Like a good start, a good, strong start that's
Yeah.
going to build the momentum, right?
Yes. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
As a historical people pleaser, does that make it challenging for you to say yes or no to business people who want to hire? And does it create a change for your boundary setting? Or are you over that now? And my business has very clear boundaries. Here's what we do. Here's what we don't do.
So I can confidently say because of the work that I've put in the last 2 years, when it comes to healthy boundaries and establishing those, I've done a good job of, I'm sorry, this isn't a good fit. Like, and I try to be able to offer, you know, other resources or gear them in a direction of maybe this person is a better fit for you. Because if one thing I've learned, having healthy boundaries and sticking to them, it may suck for a moment and it may be hard at first, but I learned that when I confidently say no to something that doesn't serve my highest good, it opens up the door for the yeses that I can say
10
to
more things
for
come
myself.
your way that fit better. Yep,
Love that you have that
that's how the
awareness.
universe is wired.
And I mean, it was hard like in the beginning but what I did and how I got there was I made my list of non-negotiables, you know, from a personal standpoint to a professional. Like, this is what I want in business and this is what I want personally. And like one of my non-negotiables is spin class. And it was a little bit of adjustment, you know, for, you know, friends and family, because they'd be like, hey, just call Brandi, you know, she can do it. And I'm like, I got spin, sorry.
Right.
And they're like, but you can just miss one. I'm like, no, I can't. Like, that one is my place of like, I can
church.
spin it out, man. I like go to town on the bike. I'm like, yeah, I need it.
And you travel a little bit for that. That's not right in your neighborhood, is it?
No, I do travel to Columbus.
That's what I thought.
But for me, it's worth it.
It's a commitment that and again, that's an integrity thing. You can bring that to the table for everybody who hires you. That's about integrity and commitment. And anybody who would ignore that would be unwise.
I mean, I travel a lot to the things that, because the last 2 years, I've really been able to put myself first and learn who and how, what makes Brandi tick. And it's been so fun just seeing like the things and the doors that open. I'm like, wow, like, I mean, it sounds silly, but I love salmon. And, you know, prior to 2 years ago, like, I want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, like, type thing. And so, like, you know, little
So things are changing everywhere.
Yes. And I'm just like, it's just so
Even on your
fun
plate.
to see.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was talking with my best friend and I was just like, I truly feel like I am finally living my life personally how I've always wanted to live.
Yeah.
But also professionally, like doing something that I truly love, that I know is making a difference, not only for their business, but also their personal life, because it is freeing up and giving them the time that they so badly want, but don't know how to do it because they're bombarded with to-do lists or not feeling like they have that guilt of, I can't get this done, so I need to take my work home.
Right.
And to be able to give a business owner time to that they don't have to take their laptop home or take it home over the weekend or on vacation is a win in my book.
That totally is. And for somebody like you that's come from where mental health and awareness and well-being are so important to you, that's a gift that you're giving to these business owners. And so are they noticing a change in their personal emotional well-being too?
Yeah, the biggest like compliment or review that I've gotten is just thank you for the time you've given back to me. Like, you've taken this off my plate and it freed them up to be able to focus on maybe something that truly they needed to focus on in their business. But also, hey, I was able to go to my son's soccer game last night because you took care of this for me. So those small things may seem small to some people, but it's huge in my eyes. It's huge in their eyes, because what I've learned is it's the little things and they just add up over time.
Good or bad. Like little things can really add up to something horrible.
Yep.
But then if you start doing the right things, it goes the other way.
Yep.
It's a good pendulum swing.
And I mean, you know, I've seen it on the negative side, you know, with somebody close to me that wants to stay in that negative cloud.
Not everybody
if you wanna
wants to
call
help you
it.
grow.
And it's hard to watch it because I'm like, come on, just, you know, try these 5 simple things.
Right.
And they just refuse. And so it's like, there I had to create a healthy boundary. Like, I love you, but I can't, I have to do it from an arm's distance away. And so that's also shown me like, not everybody's going to be receptive to it. And that's okay.
Right.
And I had to be at a point, not being a people pleaser, like, it's okay. We're not all going to agree. We're not all going to be on
can't
this
please
same
everybody.
thing. And so we're going to agree to disagree, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think most small business owners, especially at startup, they think to themselves, if I can do this, I should do this. And whether it's creating their own social content or whether it's writing scripts for whatever might be delivered otherwise, but they assume that if I can, I should. And I don't think all small business owners place a dollar value on that time.
Right.
Like if in my practice, if I'm the most productive when I'm working one-on-one with you on the table, but that means somebody else should be doing all the other things in my business that I'm A, not good at, and B, they're not my primary focus. They're not my sole purpose. So you're able to come in because your sole purpose is organizational strategizing and so forth. But most small business owners think, oh gosh, I don't want to pay somebody to do that because I can.
Yeah.
Which I think is tomfoolery until you show them the dollar value of not doing what they're wasting time on that you're really good at and can be paid very handsomely for doing, and they still get to go make more money now that they're not doing what you can take over.
Yep.
It's so hard to convince people of that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't change the oil in my car anymore. You know why?
You haven't for a long time.
No,
Let's just
but there's a reason. It's not that I don't know how. It's not that I can't.
Right.
It's just that I understand two things. Ready? Somebody feeds their family by changing other people's oil. Why would I take food out of that kid's mouth? And the other one is, it's not the highest and most valuable use of my time.
Exactly.
And so I know I can, while my oil is being changed, I can be doing 5 other things that I know are more productive in my business, or they're more productive in my family life. So I'm serving that person by letting them live their purpose, changing other people's oil. And then I also get the advantage of connecting with my family or doing other things that generate revenue in my business. So you are a revenue generator. I don't want people to see this as an expense. I want people to see what you're doing as a way for them to generate additional revenue and pay you out of that additional generation. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You're an asset to a business.
100%.
And I think, that's where creating those non-negotiables, like, okay, this is what I'm good at, but also being vulnerable with yourself. Like, this is a flaw, or this is something that I'm not strong in, and being okay with that. Like, it's sometimes hard to be like, okay, I suck in this area, but it's okay.
We all do.
There's people that can...
There's
that
a
can
YouTube
fill
video
that.
for that.
Yeah. There's a gap. There's a person, that can fill that gap for you. So that was a great point to, share that it's okay if there's something that you need help with. It's all right to ask for help.
100%.
It's okay to ask for
And
help.
sometimes you get paid to grow. Like, you may take on something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable and know that you're going to have to work a little harder at it maybe than average. But 2 things, you'll come out of it on the other side stronger and better at it for your next client, and you get paid to learn in some ways. I mean, it's a genius level move. The other thing I think that people want to maybe consider about having a virtual assistant is that you're not an HR nightmare. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to see your face every day. I don't have to manage your, you're in, you do your work, and you're out. It's like a
no
business
payroll
mercenary.
issues, right?
I love it.
And, ultimately, it tends to be more beneficial to the business because you don't have the overhead. You don't have to supply, workspace, insurance, all the benefits type package where it's just flat fee,
Bingo.
taken care of.
Yeah, taking
You
care
don't
of.
have all the extras of, I know when I started my corporate job, like, I got sent to Florida, like, I had a 2-week training and
They laid out
all
a lot of
these
money to
other
get you
things.
up to speed.
yeah. And then you look at businesses and then you have turnover.
Right.
So you're doing it over again.
Yeah.
Or why don't you hire an expert at it?
Yeah, right at the beginning. So one of the things is that when there's something that I really don't want to do, I'm very resentful of it, and I put it off forever. It like steals the joy from my life.
I don't know anything about that.
But you mentioned that there's 5 things that you wanted to tell this person that's not doesn't have ears to hear you yet. Do you want to share those? Like 5 actionable steps someone can take today to improve their mental health and begin working towards a healthier mindset?
So when it comes to like mental health, like I think there's like this negative stigma around it. It's like, I know growing up was like when you heard mental health, you immediately thought like white walls, like, straight jackets, you're crazy. And I think for so many people, like being vulnerable and saying, hey, I need help in this area. People wouldn't do it. And so, it's simple, but simply just one, asking for help. And when I went through what I went through, 2 years ago, like my best friend, like she was there. She met me where I was and, with no judgment. And I was just like, I need help. Like I've got all this, to try to sort through. And she was just there to listen. It was one of those things that was the best thing that could have happened.
I was going to say, look
It
how
was
you
the
came
best
out
thing
the
that
other
could
side of
happen.
it is how you guys see it, no doubt.
Yeah, it's easier when you see it 2 years later too, right?
Yes. Like I mean, I love another thing is, gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, and I am so grateful for gratitude. I do it every day. Sometimes I do it twice a day. And, it's the little things that, as sucky as that situation was and as hard, and I was in the deepest, darkest place mentally, that looking back at that to where I am now, I'm just like,
Now it's a gift.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. You can really see the light now. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but not only that, it's like I can use it to like help others along the way. Like in the beginning, like I was not vulnerable with sharing my story. Like I was just like, that's personal, that's private, like nobody needs to know about it. But, through working with, body code and, uncovering what was making me, like I was like, there is hope and there's inspiration and there's value in that. And I think we as humans sometimes forget that we are given a voice, and it's okay to talk about the uncomfortable things. It's okay to speak out your truth, because there's so much negativity around us that we get bombarded. And so having that positive voice or that positive light or that moment of gratitude, the difference that can make for somebody, like for example, the BB bus, the 2 questions I love asking my niece and nephew after I pick them up. And my nephew, he's like, BB, why do I got to answer this every day? But I find it so valuable.
He sounds just like that, by the way. I know why. He sounds exactly like that.
What was something that made you smile today?
That's a
It's
good
like one of my favorite questions. But then I also like, I ask, what was something that frustrated you or, that upset you? Because I think it's important that at an early age, kids learn how to talk about that. Kids learn how to be open and not just shut down, because I saw it firsthand as, a child. Like I didn't know what to do. So I just shut down and became a people pleaser type thing. So gratitude is the other one. Finding your support system or a group of people that you are comfortable with being vulnerable with. I have amazing people in my corner, both personally and professionally, that met me where I was, but also was like, girl, put your heels on. Let's go. We're going to go sing karaoke. And I'm like, but I don't want to. They're like, let's go. Come on. Chop, chop.
So they didn't let you hide.
No. Nope. They, put the mirror in front of my face and, forced me to see who I was, and was like, you matter. You have a voice. You, are this, this, and this. And it was something that I never believed in. It was so hard to like look at myself and be like, nope, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But now I look in the mirror, I'm like, dang girl, look at you. Like, let's go.
For those of you that are watching video, this is a good time for that. Check her out.
Finding that personal work-life balance, especially for those that, are business owners, but also even if you're not a business owner, like my, old corporate job, like I was finding myself bringing home, work, and it was like, I would do what I need to do, but then I was, back to work. And so I think it spans across from business owners to also, just being an employee somewhere, like find something that you can separate yourself from that, because ultimately you should not, you shouldn't work to live. You should live.
Shouldn't live to work.
Yeah, that's it. And then lastly, like breaking that stigma, it's okay to admit that maybe you're not doing so good, mentally, or you're struggling with anxiety or depression or, like I had an eating disorder for, nearly 10 years, and it was something that like nobody talked about because it, there was something wrong with you, but it's okay. Like find that group of, and it, all ties together, finding that group of support people that you can feel comfortable with talking and discussing about it, because when you find that support system, they're going to love you no matter what.
Exactly.
They're not going to judge you, but again, they're going to give you that little bit of a push.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's what we want from them. And we kind of, like, you have your group of personal friends that are that for you. And then you have a wellness team. Is that what you mean? Like other people professionally that also help you along the way with tools?
Yep. Yeah. They, are pour into me like professionally, like I can go to them and like, okay, I don't quite understand maybe this aspect of business. Like, what have you tried and has worked? Or this is what I'm doing and this is what's working for me. And so like finding that healthy balance of, because one of the traits that I have is I love my creativity. Like I'm a very out of the box thinker, and I'm not afraid to try new things. And, so hearing somebody's idea, like it may spark, something I'm like, hey, like, why don't we try this? Or like, I'm going to, implement this with my business.
Right.
And so having that core professionally and personally has really made an impact, not only in business, but also like the mental aspect, because you're getting out, you're getting to be able to use like your mind. And I think it's something that's often so overlooked of how much our mind, controls the things that we do, how we think, how we feel, how we act. And when you give it the tools that it needs, like it's just amazing what it can do.
All right. So from the inside out, any books, any podcasting, any materials where you can say this piece of material has had a big impact on me personally and professionally.
One of my favorite books is Atomic Habits. And I think it just goes to play, and I love how it breaks things down, but it gives you like a system. And I am a very system-oriented person, professionally and personally. I mean, if you look at my Google Calendar, it's color coordinated. It is like time blocked to the half hour.
What about your closet? Closet is color coordinated or by season?
Both.
Sock drawer, by color, by size, by warmth, by how do you do it?
I have the sock organizers, and each space has their sock, and I have like my workout socks, my yoga socks, it's all
So types and colors.
yes.
Yeah, it was just a hunch, but that's what I was guessing. Yeah.
And actually this is one of my other favorite books, and it will be in the gift basket that I'm putting together.
What?
But one thing that when I started working,
What's the name of it, Brandi?
it's called Self-Care: How to Live Mindfully and Look After Yourself. By Claire Chamberlain. You can find it at Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
It's also available on Amazon Kindle, I believe. You can download. But one of the things when I was, working through like the mental health aspect of, for so long, well, nearly my entire life, 35 years, I believed the lie that like putting yourself first was selfish or taking care of yourself was selfish. And I will take this to my grave that it's not. It's a necessity. And this little book, I mean, I read it all the time.
It's so cute.
But one of my favorite quotes in it is...
Brandi has, for those that are listening in, Brandi has Post-its throughout the book. These are your favorite pages?
One of my favorites is by Mandy Hill. It says, "It's not selfish to love yourself, take care of yourself, and to make your happiness a priority. It's necessary." And, when you can apply those simple self-care things professionally and personally, like it just elevates everything.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that when I initially looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, you're a priority. And I made those non-negotiables. So back to the Atomic Habits, that book allowed me to take like the bigger picture thing and scale it back into the chunks of making it part of my everyday life. And that's what I liked about it, because, I think people struggle creating habits.
Yes.
They really don't. They may start it, but then, you look at New Year's resolutions, a lot of people will fail within the first couple weeks. But the book does a really good job of learning how to implement it into your everyday routine. And that's what I did professionally and personally. I mean, with spin class, like every Wednesday night, 6:45, that's where you're going to find me.
Nice. Have you ever flown with the kids, with Lily and Wyatt? Have you guys ever been on an airplane together?
Yeah.
I think airline industries do a really good job of what you just said. Like when the flight attendant's giving you the big spiel at the front of the plane, how to fasten your seatbelt. And in the event of an emergency, oxygen masks may drop down. And so we want you to go ahead and put on the kids' masks first. No, that's not what they say.
Hold on.
100%. No, they say put on your mask first,
yeah.
because you take care of the others around you after you've taken care of yourself, because you can't take care of them if you don't take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's also a difference between selfish and self-full. You need to be self-full because
Yeah.
you can't bring the best you to the world. If you're selfish, means you're taking at others' expense.
Yep.
Self-full means you're taking care of yourself to bring value to others at a mutual benefit.
I mean, it allows you, my motto is to be able to show up every day my best self.
Yeah.
And also, I want to push myself to be 1% better each day.
Oh, nice.
Professionally and personally. Because when I do that, like, I'm able to give more,
Yeah.
you know, to my business,
sure.
to my clients, but also to myself, you know, to the people that matter to me.
Right.
And for so long, like, I didn't live that way. Like, it was pleasing everybody. And I was essentially pouring from an empty cup. And it was just like,
Yeah.
my life was so unfulfilled, even though, you know, people say, well, you looked happy. It's easy to throw on a smile on your face.
For sure.
But when you're pouring from an empty cup, I mean, you get burnout. Like, you're just like,
Yeah.
I mean, there was just days where I'm like, okay,
Yep.
hi, I'm
And
here
sometimes
today.
there's merit to that, right? Sometimes you
sometimes you have
got
to
to talk
fake it.
yourself into it, but you can't do that as a lifestyle.
No.
You could do it for a day or two. You cannot do it for a life. Yeah.
Brandi, recently on Facebook, you shared your story. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So like I said, 2 years ago, like I, you know, went through this life altering event essentially, and it really pushed me to evaluate who I was as a person. And, you know, the last 2 years I've really made self-care a priority, and that has allowed me to evolve into what my business looks like. And I'm so excited for it. And I'm already seeing like the doors opening, and they're just aligning so beautifully.
Yeah.
And it just feels so good to be like in alignment, with what I finally feel like I get to live authentically. And I can't like put into words like what it feels like. But sharing that was also like, I've lost 100 pounds over the last 2 years.
Amazing.
And, you know, a lot of, you know, people be like, what are you doing? Like, you know, they want that little like, thing
what's
that
the
they
secret,
what's
right?
the secret? And it's just like, my answer is so simple, and is I made myself a priority.
I'm working my butt off is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's how you did it.
And-
Mentally and emotionally and spiritually and physically. It's work.
My, you know, I say, you know, I made myself a priority, and I learned to remove myself from the toxic people and things that weren't serving me.
Yeah.
Creating those healthy boundaries. And through that, my favorite, even though the physical change has been amazing, like it's boosted my, you know, self-confidence and just how I feel, like working out type thing, the mindset has been my favorite. The mental transformation has been my favorite, because I knew where I was and I know where I am now, and it is like a 180. Yeah. And it has allowed me to take the business to the level that I want it to be. But it's also allowed me to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it was scary, you know, putting myself out there on social media,
Sure.
because
Always.
you've got the people that are gonna have the hate comments, or, you know, like, well, you could have done this, or, oh my God, look at that, you know, type thing.
I know,
But
it's so crazy.
the messages of, you know, gratitude from people, I was like,
Yep.
that's
Because you
why.
shared.
You're inspiring people you'll never meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're inspiring people you'll never meet. And it always makes me laugh when people say haters, like haters or haters. And it's like, well, that's why they call them that. Of course they're going to be hateful. That's why they call them haters. What else would you expect them to do?
Yeah.
Let them.
And I love that I was able to be in a place of vulnerability, because I think that's something, you know, people are afraid of, because it's exposing them.
Yeah.
But I think it starts with being vulnerable with yourself. Yeah. And I love doing mirror affirmations every morning, because I can stand there, and I'm to a point now where like I'm believing what I'm saying. Like I got
Soaking in.
vulnerable early on, like, okay, these are the lies. And through body code, like I was able to uncover like so many lies that like I believe that were just like, I mean, I can picture some of Caitlin's faces now. She's like, girl. And I'm like, I know, right?
So here's a weird question though, and you've mentioned the body code now 3 times, and I want people to know what is the difference between a body code session and a talk therapy session. What seals the deal on body code for you versus that?
Lisa, you probably can help articulate more like exactly what body code is, and then I'll share my.
I don't want that. I want to know what it means for you personally. Yeah. What's different about just talking it out versus body code?
So, from my standpoint, is a lot of times my sessions, like, you don't actually have to talk through those traumas
100%.
or things. Or therapy, it's like you go sitting on the couch and you gotta like talk it out. But a lot of things that have come up, like I'm like, I never would have like connected that to, some of the things. I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, a big one that came up early on was being cut from volleyball. Yeah. And how it just like manifested
things that get
Harvard.
locked into your tissue, they get hardwired into the system.
Right.
But what seals the deal? How do we clean it up? What makes it go away?
Well, I think it's prayer and the Holy Spirit coming in to clean out the garbage.
Yeah. Letting God do what only God can do. If we could fix it ourselves, we wouldn't need him. And so I feel like one of the ways that he lets us know we're not him is we can't fix everything for ourselves, but he can fix things for us. And so that, I think, is the biggest difference between body code and any other kind of therapy, is that it lets God put the exclamation point on it and close the door so you can move on.
Agree.
Yeah. It doesn't have to stay stuck forever.
No, and that's why it's like, the session happens and, she'll be like, okay, 2 to 3, sometimes I've had, five processing days. And I love how in tune I am with my body now. Like, it's crazy because I know, like, day 2 or 3, like, I know how it's going to respond. And so like, I make, I plan my accordingly to that. But I also love like how connected I am because, I'll get this intuition like, okay, I need another session. I'm not even kidding. Last time, it was like 2 minutes later, like Caitlin texts me and says, in person, place and on the website. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's always like she's doing in person, like when I need it the most. And so I actually have one at the end of this month. But it's just I think body code also has helped me to just be in tune with who I am, clearing that junk and not having to carry it with you. Like I've been, in church where, the pastor's preaching, with the luggage and, carrying it and leaving it at the altar. And that's kind of how like I feel like you go into your session, you clear it out, you leave it. And I find myself like, I don't really think about like those things that like it's gone.
Yeah.
And like the event, 2 years ago, like that was, that was a few sessions, but I got to a place now where like, it's done. Right.
Yeah.
Don't have to think about it anymore.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think, for people that don't understand, it's a protective mechanism that we have to bury these things down.
Yes.
And then, but what they don't realize, unless you're dealing with them and allowing them to be gone, they will stay stuck until you are willing to release them.
And they manifest in lots of ways.
Lots of different ways.
And physical
health,
issues,
mental
health issues.
But also physical health. And I think that's shocking for people. It's like, how can mental things affect my physical being? But they do so significantly.
It's so easy when you think about it, though. Like we could think a thought right now, probably all of us, we could think about something and produce tears. That's a thought. That is a thing creating a physical change in our physiology. Thoughts are absolutely things, and they do change physiology. The good news, I think, is that you use it both ways. It's for the good or the not so.
Yep.
Right?
It's like focusing on
We can think
gratitude.
about things and make ourselves giggle and smile and chuckle, and you can feel your physiology changing when those things come into your mind. The mind is a powerful tool for either growth and I think the enemy uses it to smother us on a daily basis, on the regular. And if we're not working against that, we're in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah,
deep trouble.
It's true. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you want to continue your virtual Harmoni journey?
I do.
Oh, Harmony, because I've got this with an I. Is that how you're doing it?
Yep, because
it's Harmoni.
Brandi is Brandi. So
Thank you.
Harmoni is Harmoni.
We guessed that on the way over.
So what do you see happening? And then I want to know about your ideal client. I want to know, who do you want more clients of?
So I kind of mentioned earlier, initially, like when I was setting things up, it was, looking at the retainer type aspect, and it did not quite resonate with me. And then, I had reached out to Chelsea and, she was sharing, and I was like, that's it. The VIP days. And so with my business, I want to be able to implement that full time. Having a Brandi day where that day is dedicated to you. We're going to get your stuff done.
Yeah.
And then, but also like, I want it to get it to a point where I love to travel. Like traveling just unites my soul. I have so many places on my bucket list I want to travel to. So
Top 3.
Paris and London for one.
Okay.
The Maldives or Maldives, however you say
Maldives.
it. And
So gorgeous.
I would probably say Ireland.
Okay. Yeah, those are good top picks. Okay,
So
go ahead.
I want to go international. Nobody in my family, they just like to go into Florida, and I'm like,
But that's the
Florida
joy of being
again.
a virtual assistant. You can
Yeah,
work
you can be
anywhere there's
anywhere
an
you
internet
want.
connection.
yes. Which I do. Like the last 3 years, I've traveled the whole month of July, and it's been a blessing that I can, take my work with me.
Yeah.
Now I do dedicate, time, like laptops closed, like
Right.
I'm off.
Good.
Don't contact me. I ain't gonna answer if you do. And so like I really want to scale it to where that it allows me, one, financially to sustain this lifestyle of, hitting those things that I've put on hold for so long, such as travel. I love being able to be involved with my niece and nephew and, taking them to school. They're starting out their sporting career. So Lily's getting ready to be into cheerleading and Wyatt's doing baseball and football. And so being able to have that flexibility to still be a part of that, but also like, I'm young, I'm thriving, I'm truly living my life now. Like I want the social aspect. So, creating that flexibility is going to be to create that so that I can go out and sing karaoke a few nights a week.
I was going to say, how many nights are you singing karaoke, Brandy?
Well, as of right now, one.
What's your go-to
What's
song?
your go-to?
Go-to.
What's your
Journey,
go-to?
Don't Stop Believing.
Classic.
Classic.
I know. Can you get up there?
Yeah.
Steve Perry.
Now, the last couple of times, I've had the privilege to do NSYNC Bye Bye Bye. So,
Oh, nice. By yourself?
no.
No, you had a group
with a
of you up
special
there?
person.
Oh, with your special person.
So that's
We're not going to
been
drop
fun.
any names today, though, right?
No.
No name dropping
yet.
today.
No name dropping.
Not
But
time
if there's
for
a
that
photo,
yet.
because we'll have some photos and some links for your contact stuff.
Oh, if you
on
wanna
this
pop a
episode.
photo in
so
there,
if you
you
want
can.
to pop a photo of you and anybody else that might be singing with
karaoke.
you karaokeing, we could put that in.
I do have a fabulous picture of the first karaoke event, and
Okay.
it was, maybe I'll drop that one.
Yeah.
I'll get permission
Graham
first.
will get in touch. We'll get
Grandma's
whatever it is
really
you
good.
want on there.
Have you seen how he pops those pictures
Yes,
in? They're,
I did.
they're only up for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they pop down, but they're fun.
And we can always smudge out anybody that might exit in the future. No big deal.
But really just creating that financial stability to be able to pursue the things that I want to. And I think the more that I look at it, like my ideal client, I think is that, business owner that is really either just starting out or maybe has an established business, but they don't have those systems or processes in place where it's a streamline for them. And they're just like, flying by the seat of their pants, trying to figure things out where let me come in, let me get it nice, pretty tied with a bow for you. And you can be on your way type thing. So that I would say would be my ideal client.
Do you have some upcoming projects or initiatives that you're working towards that you're excited about?
I have recently started with writing blogs.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
So one of the things I love to do is I just love to sit at my computer and just kind of get my thoughts out. And whether it's journaling or, typing.
For the 7 pages of notes for this young lady.
Trust me when I tell you she's telling us the truth. Some people when we get these show notes, they'll have half a page. Like we got a hard time getting this much text. And then there's other people
there's
who are not
me.
afraid
I mean,
to be vulnerable.
why not? I'm very
love it.
detailed.
I almost did get out my highlighter and I'm like, no, I'll be able to pick through what she's got on here.
And so,
So are you blogging for your own business or are you blogging for other people's businesses?
I've started with mine
Okay.
and then now I've actually added it to my list of services to offer.
Okay.
One, I find it, from a mental health standpoint, it's one for me, it's very therapeutic because I can get my thoughts out, organize them, see them, get rid of the ones that don't serve me and put energy and time into the ones that do. And so that's something that I'm excited to implement. It's actually available on my website. I have 3 blog posts up.
What's the name of your website?
You can just go to brandifarris.com.
Nice.
So
Brandy with an I.
Brandi with an I. Yep. So it hosts not only like the things that I offer for business, but also the blog.
And I can get a not just a menu of services, but a price list.
Yes,
We can learn, here's how this is going to go.
correct. Yep.
100%. Love it.
All on there.
I like that transparency. Some people kind of hide the pricing, and it's like, just tell me what it is.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
what it is.
If I can, I will. If I can, I won't.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think, speaking to that, like even from, as a business owner, it's like they feel like if they don't put it, that it's going to like force them to get in contact.
Yeah, no,
with
they
you.
just won't get in
And I
touch.
feel like they just, nope, I don't.
Yeah.
And you're losing business
100%.
from it.
Yeah.
The other thing actually that has always been on my radar is to write a book. I've never really like known what I wanted to write about. And I still, it's still kind of like, I don't know, but I feel like the mental health world, mental aspect, self-care really resonates. And so I don't know, maybe in the next year or two, I'll type away and have a book.
Probably all these blog posts that you're doing about your business, they'll all kind of come together and be the book.
Yeah.
As you're writing, and it's almost like getting these little snippets that'll turn into chapters. And it'll almost be like you're writing it over the next couple months or so.
Yeah. And along with the book, I've always thought it'd be fun to write and record a song. So
Oh, fun! Record a song? Oh, fun.
like music has been a huge thing for me. Well, one my whole life, but has also really shown the last, couple years, like how instrumental it is.
Yeah.
And I think when people think self-care, taking care of yourself, they think, oh, like spa day or get a massage or get your nails done. But like, it's to me, the simple things like gratitude journaling, going for a walk, getting vitamin D, good skincare, like, or exercising, properly fueling your body. And another one is I love dance car jam out sessions. Like I'll be, driving to Columbus and I got it up and I'm
car
just
jam
like,
sessions.
if you're coming next to me, they're probably like, well, and I'm like,
The BB
safely,
bus.
of course.
If you see the BB bus, a rockin'.
I'm just dancing it out. So, but I've always loved to sing and, music has always played a part. And so I think being able to create and write a song, would be a fun thing to do.
So just, has Caitlin ever talked to you about her writing and singing and recording?
No, I'm going to have to ask her.
Caitlin has a CD. It's called Shades of Caitlin. I'm calling you out, Caitlin. We were talking about it on the cruise too. I'm like, what people need to know about this? Yeah, so you'll have to ask her about it.
Ask her about that.
Yeah. For her 18th birthday, we had a surprise party for her, and I compiled everything on a CD. I think she's got like 13 or 14 songs on there.
How fun.
And she wrote them. She recorded down at Blessed Union of Souls recording studio in Morrow, Ohio. So we went down there and recorded down there. So if you want to actually record it, that would be a way to do it.
Or we just lend you a copy of the CD and then you can bust it out on Kate when you're here.
Or if you want to use our microphones, and we can like put up sound panels and
Jam
you can record
sesh.
it in here.
I love this.
Record some of my karaoke sessions.
Where do you
one
do
more
karaoke?
thing.
Where do you go?
There's a place in Easton, like they have them like all over.
You're
but
going to Columbus for singing?
I mean, I'm in Columbus a lot, and
All
it's
right.
where I'm building
you're-
my life. So.
I was going to say, you're kind of halfway in between
Migrating.
Columbus and here anyways, right?
So I've got some big things coming up, a few things that I'll have my lips sealed on.
Yeah.
We'll look for them in your blog.
Yeah. But I'm excited for some of the things that will transpire this summer.
I love that. Do you want to talk about your 30-day mental wellness challenge?
Yes. So one thing that for the viewers watching and listening, there will be a thing that you can access and download, kind of a challenge where each day it's just a simple thing to work on your mental health.
Nice.
And, being able, part of the thing is like being vulnerable. And so like posting it on social media, like, hey, this is what I'm doing,
Right.
type thing. And then, those 30 days end and you can look at where you started to where you end. And I guarantee you're going to see some type of positive change in your life.
Absolutely. What a
So
nice
we're going
thing.
to put a link to that on the show notes. Is that what you're saying?
So
Yeah,
we're going to tell
I'll have a-
us, so
I'll
the
have a
listeners will have
beautiful-
access
yes.
to this. Okay. And then you had some other things that you were talking about doing too.
Page 7.
Yeah, let's see. Hang on. 2 seconds here.
The like mental health, like Monday challenge things. Is that what you're referring
it was
to?
that, and then the offer for
New
listeners
clients.
too, for new
Yes.
clients.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's not leave that out.
No.
New. So with the implementation of the Brandi Days, I am offering a promo rate to the first 6 that book that.
Oh, nice.
So I
Okay.
have dates available the end of April and into May.
Okay.
For those. So
first 6 people that
First
reach out
6,
to you.
yep.
Okay.
And once, those are gone, it'll, go back to the regular price. But I wanted to be able to offer that to them as a little gift from me.
Do they need a promo code, like a Living Well Together?
Nope. So once they schedule,
Clock
it'll
starts
just
as
be,
soon as this episode drops. The clock starts on that, and they've got how many days to respond? Or
just
the first 6
the
over
first
whatever gap.
6,
Okay,
yep.
all right. So it could be gone in an hour.
Correct.
Right on. Okay, so that clock starts ticking when you hear this conversation.
Tick, tick.
Yep.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that'll be nice. And then you have a gift basket that you're going to put out through the Living Well, Giving Well.
Yep. The purpose of the gift basket is putting yourself first and self-care. And so there will be a lot of my favorite things for self-care.
I love that.
Simple things, but also I'm not going to share exactly what's in it.
No,
So
that's
it'll be
okay.
a surprise.
Yeah.
But again, this book will be one of those things that you'll find in there, a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite pens type things. So
Beautiful.
Love it.
Beautiful.
This is so fun, Brandi. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
one of my favorite quotes, or I don't know, necessarily think it's a quote, but something that one of my mirror affirmations, and it was a huge turning point from a mindset shift, was for so long in life, it was like, be patient, wait for this, or, always almost feeling like you're sitting back, waiting for the things to happen. And as, being a people pleaser, you're trying to figure out what that is. But I had read this and it says, be patient, trust the journey of your life, and remember that patience is not about waiting. It's the ability to keep a good attitude while working hard for what you believe in.
Love that.
And when I read that, I was like, oh my goodness. And so as you can see, I have it on a Post-it and I've got it written everywhere, but it's just a simple reminder that life is a journey. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to have to be working for something, because we're never going to fully cross that finish line, until our time has come. But believing in yourself and having that positive attitude is going to make the difference.
Being thankful for what you have while you're working hard for what you want.
Yep.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This will be great.
Thank you so much, Brandi.
I appreciate it so much for allowing me to
You
be a
did
guest.
really great. Really great.
What should our people do?
Like, subscribe, and follow.
Yeah. Stay tuned. See you
See you
next
later.
time.
Bye-bye. Good job, girl. That was
Thanks.
great. Did you
Yes.
feel comfortable? You acted like you were completely comfortable.
Yeah. I felt good.
What's hard about
that's
it? Nothing.
Well, but that's the joy of being prepared. For people like Brandi and I, we don't wing it the way you do.
No,
But
I'm getting better at not winging
Yeah.
it, frankly.
you're getting better at not winging it. That goes against who you are, who God created you to be, though.
Yeah. Winging it's not always the best route.
Oh, well.